So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this series. So you might want to watch this from the beginning, because despite the fact that it says news, all of the topics are relevant and they are kind of timeless and they are kind of like cultural things that you are supposed to know. And also, every time that you get knowledge, it's something that is not going to, make you have more weight or anything. It doesn't weight anything, but it has a lot of value. It just makes you smarter, and it will allow you to make better decisions. So I'm hoping that this video this kind of series can do that for you. So anyway, the other one got cut off in the middle. So because the idea was that I spent about 5 minutes in each topic, or maybe less, but sometimes things happen. So things that are important for you to understand. Let's see. Let's start. The federals, as in FBI, and people like that, with the U.S. Marshals, just went to Pennsylvania to a farm community, in which there is an Amish. These are Amish people. And there is one farm that provides food for 4,000 people. This farm does not require any kind of fuel, as in gasoline or diesel or anything like that. So, it's organic, and it doesn't pollute anything. So they cannot, tax them with whatever. And also, because it is a protected area due to religious rights and all kinds of things. After all, they're in the U.S. They're not supposed to have any kind of trouble when they are trying to provide for themselves, right? Except that this week, these authorities just showed up, and they fined the farmer with $300,000 that he has to pay for producing food without, I don't know what they tell them, but he has to pay $300,000. And they took inventory of everything that he has. So if he sells one meat or, whatever he sells from his farm, he will likely go to jail. Besides the fact that he has to pay all that money. And there is no legal reason for this. It's just that somebody told them in the administration from the president that they have in the US right now, the alleged president, they are having that issue. So I am assuming that they are going to take care of that particular group very soon. And since the Amish do not have, a lot of contact with the outside world, you might not know what that means. But it basically means that they will be coming after any kind of minorities. And if you're thinking that the authorities, as in people that are, with the guns trying to be on the side of the government, will have some sort of conscience and they will stop, because you are kind of like, what are you doing? I mean, this is Amish people, they don't do anything wrong, so why are you going there to take their farm, their land, their everything, and tax them and fine them with $300,000, and even threatens to take them to jail just because the guy said that he's providing food for 4,000 people? I mean, when does he stop? And the thing is that this is a side effect of the shots that people have been taking. I'm going to tell you. You can talk to any doctor that you want. If the doctor is honest with you, the doctor will tell you that people that took the things are having changes in their characters, as in they're having troubles with memories, they're having troubles with like fighting, like if it is sort of like if they're stuck in an emotional loop that happened several years ago or whatever, and now they cannot think in terms of their immunological process. So it's sort of like they're placing value where there is no value. And they are throwing away family relationships and friendship relationships and all kinds of relationships. And they are being angry about it. So if somebody, is within this situation with you, and you talk to doctors, they will tell you that this is happening to almost everyone. So this means that the authorities, they are not going to have a conscience anymore, because something is in these things that is preventing people to have emotions. It's making people go more and more into their ego and into following whoever is paying them, and they're not following their own thought and their own mind. And this was proven. And in fact, there is a theory that these things have some sort of metals and stuff that is messing around with our electromagnetic field, which is exactly where our thoughts are. And now there is a framework in which you are going to think, meaning there is no free thinking anymore for those people. So I'm going to say it again. There was a video that I saw, and it was quite scary, and it's bad.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change. Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
This is profound. She said the very idea of human beings being some sort of a natural concept is going to change, and that our bodies are going to be so high-tech we will not be able to distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial. This is the merger of man and machine. This is the transhumanist agenda. This is the World Economic Forum's official video from their own YouTube channel.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
There you just heard Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman for the World Economic Forum, say that the fourth industrial revolution is going to change us, change humanity.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts. And in a society where people fear having those thoughts, the likelihood of being able to enjoy progress is significantly diminished.
Did you just hear that? She said right now the discussion has been around free speech, but basically once we get that out of the way, once we get access to people's thoughts, and once we get access to people's emotions, we need to create a framework for people to think in, so people aren't scared, so people are safe. This is absolutely terrifying. Talk about thought police. They are fully intending and telling us right now that they plan to have direct access to your thoughts and to your emotions and be able to manipulate them as they see fit, of course, for the greater good. This is not about saving the planet. This is not about equality. This is about control. They want to redefine what it means to be human and determine for you your role and your future of being essentially a transhumanist cyborg integrated into this new control grid.
So anyway, that was one of the audios that I got. I got it in a video. I just don't know how to put it together, and I do not think that YouTube will allow me to put this video up. And anyway, this is from, the source is activismpost.com or something like that. I don't have the proper reference because somebody sent it to me in a group, that discusses things that are related to changes in society and stuff like that. So anyway, The whole point is that the experiment to do this is right now already happening, and they were able to prove it with another. I'm sorry, I get interrupted all the time by my daughter. So anyway, this whole thing is already being tested in the people that got the things in their arms through some sort of a metal thing, and it has been proven also through EMPs and through other things that are happening, and this is very, very, very bad. And this is affecting people's mood and people's perception of things. So if you're thinking that the authorities will have some sort of conscience, not very likely. And if you're thinking that people will be able to relate to you because you're human, not very likely. The reason being that they are biologically being manipulated so that they cannot do it. You can overcome that, and a lot of people can overcome this. It's just that for this you will need to change a lot of things, and you will need to go through your own deep mind, and not easy. Quite frankly, not easy. And in fact, I'm going through that just in one aspect, which is the money thing and the prosperity thing and the abundant thing, and it got me, it got into the ground, and it took a while for me to recover. So in terms of other things, for other people, it might not even be so easy. In fact, I don't think people will be willing to take a look at that for any reason. So anyway, moving on. So right now they are passing new laws about the cars. So the new law for the cars is as follows, especially because they already approved it in Europe. So you can expect, my God, you can expect people leaving Europe like crazy. After, I think maybe after they actually implement this thing, give it 1 year, and people will be leaving Europe like crazy. I do not think people will be able to take it, because this one is affecting cars. And I told you, the main thing about hard times is not going to be you battling, water or propane or hyperinflation, all these things which will affect your mind and will drive you crazy. It will absolutely make you go ballistic when it affects your ability to move around, as in transportation. So unless you're telling me that you now have huge hikikomori issues, as in you're living in your own place and you do not want to travel, that's fine. But most people will not be able to do this because it will give you a lot of mental problems. So here is what is happening with the cars. They said that people should not drive cars unless you can prove that you're not drunk, you are not drugged, you are not sleepy, you are fit to drive, and you basically can prove that your car is yours, and you basically prove that you don't owe money to the government because of fines or whatever, or you're basically whatever that you think can go wrong with somebody driving a car is going to be prevented. How? Well, they are going to put a device into the wheel in which you will have to provide either a blood test, as in you will have to punch your finger, and then they will do a blood test immediately, or they will do something like a breath test, so that you will have to physically put your breath in, kind of like the way that you do the alcohol thing when you get stopped by the police. And then you will have to do this every single time that you turn on your car. So you turn on your car and your car will not move unless it gets an okay from the authorities, which will do all of this by online. So you have to wait, do the test, wait a couple of minutes, and then you're driving or you're not driving, depending upon what happened. So let me explain this one. Let's say that you have a fine that you haven't paid because of whatever. Let's say that your wife was driving the car and she got a parking ticket. And so the car right now has a parking ticket outstanding that you didn't pay within 48 hours or something like that or whatever. So you do the test and everything is right with you, but your car will not turn on. Why? Well, the internet says that you owe money for the fine, so you are not allowed to turn on your car because you have a fine that you haven't paid. Let's say that you have whatever, and I do mean whatever, any kind of issues. Let's say that you are a father who had a very, very, very hard year, and now your ex-wife is going to sue you for money for your kid and whatever, and now you are trying to put yourself together and you finally got a car, so you're finally going to get a job, and now you can't get to your job and you cannot make money because your car will not turn on with you because you owe money to your ex-wife. And until you don't pay your money to your ex-wife, and until you do not get all of the fines taken care of, and until you do not settle everything that you are supposed to settle with the government, then you are not driving. I'm going to repeat this. You are not driving. Oh, and if you're thinking, okay, so how do I fix that? Well, they're going to connect in your car. They're going to have an integrated thing which you can put your arm, and then you can get access to your credit card, and then you can pay all your fines and everything through your credit card. So it begs the question, what happened? Well, the credit card that you have must be yours, and it also because you are the one who is using it, right? So it cannot be somebody else's credit card because obviously that will be stealing your ID. So for example, if you are using your wife's credit cards, that won't work because she can sue you for using her ID. So it's not going to happen. So you need to have either somebody there who will pay the fine for you, or you will have to share the car. So now this is going to be an issue, because if you are going to have to share cars so that somebody else can help you in case that your credit card gets declined, because and I mean let's say that you go to the supermarket and then you are thinking that you're driving back, but while you are at the supermarket, something happens, like there is a new lawsuit against you, or the system gets updated, or whatever. Or let's say that you were kissing with your wife, and your wife got a beer, and so now you smell a little bit like beer, even though you didn't drink. Yeah, you are now not driving your car. You're walking. Oh, and if you leave your car unattended in parking spots and things like that, you will also get fines. And this all means that your car must be connected to the internet at all times. This also means that if there is no internet, your car is not going to turn on. So you driving to the countryside where there is no internet, that's not happening, because your car will turn off. And there will be a lot of things that people do not get it because they have never been without internet. No internet means no drone delivering for you, drones falling from the sky. It means no communications. It means people freaking out. And if the internet is not going to be linked to your car, how exactly are you going to turn it on? So they are also talking about the cars having an extra tax if the car, consumes more gasoline than the average car. And it is also being talked about the fact that, in the US, for example, you have lanes in which if you drive alone, you're supposed to get into these lanes, but if you drive with more people, then you can save this one and you can get the pass in the other lines of stuff like that. Well, sort of like that, except for the fact that now, they are asking that if you go into your car and last week you drove 100 miles, and this week you drove 150 miles, the problem is that you were supposed to drive only 200 miles per month, according to your CO2 quota thing that they are doing. Because the taxes will not be just for the farmers and the animals, but will also be about how much you are driving. And it will be per miles. And so either you share the car with somebody else, and that way, the carbon footprint thing will be shared, or you are not driving because the car will not turn on. Despite you having everything on, clear and you being okay, you are not going to be allowed to drive because the CO tax for that car is already maxed out for the whole month. So it doesn't matter if you need to go to the hospital, if you're a doctor, whatever. It doesn't matter anything. You already exceeded your quota and your car will not turn on. Period. So they are doing that right now. Oh, and by the way, they already passed the legislation. So expect this next year to happen in Europe. And I'm thinking it will happen in the US. Mostly because people are afraid of drunk drivers. So because people are afraid of drunk drivers, instead of educating people, and instead of, making people, in bars, for example, do not let them out if they're drunk and things like that, and, do other stuff to control the drunk people, we're not going to do that. We're just going to control the freaking car. And while we're at it, why don't we allow this and this and this and this to happen, and then the CO tax, and then this and this and this and that. So be prepared to pay about $2,000. I'm not joking. Be prepared to pay around $2,000 at least every 6 months, just for being able to use your car. And that is if everything is in order. And if you're thinking that I'm joking, oh no, there was a lot of people that even made a movie about it. I'm not joking. You should see the freaking movie. In this movie, people are just about to commit. You have no idea. And it is because of cars. So people will be trying to leave this place. Because of course, if you drive, if you do whatever, you need a car. And basically you're being tracked inside the car. You're being tracked everything. And you cannot move without being in a road that it is not, meant to be online. So if you deviate to another course because you're going to a farm or whatever, yeah, you're not driving through there. The car will just fall and it will not turn on. I don't think that is, what you wanted to hear, but yeah. And now the whole thing about the taxing, the CO taxing is also going to be done by housing, by the size of your house. You see, the size of your house, the bigger, it will consume more electricity, even if it is ghost electricity. It will consume also more land, more taxes, and more things, and because of heating costs and all kinds of things. So you are also going to have a lot of penalties that will be done by living in your own house, because you need to pay based upon how many people live in that house, and the space, as in, it's sort of like there will be a tax for all of that. And you're thinking, oh, no, that doesn't happen. Ooh! Oh my God. Okay, if you're thinking that this does not happen, let me tell you that I'm sorry, but it's already happening in Spain. Now, I'm going to tell you what they're doing in Spain. Right now, this week. Several friends in Spain, several people actually, not friends, people, several people got a statement through the bank, the printed one, not the one that you see online, but the one that you get in the mail, the one that most people don't bother to even open or read or whatever. And in the mail, they got the note that says, you spent this much money in gasoline, this much money in food, from which this amount was meat. You spend this much money into electricity, from which we are assuming that this much is for heating cost. And this is how much you spent, and this and this and this. And they even had a table in the second page that says how many trees, will be needed to replace the carbon footprint thing, which was equivalent, for this guy, I think he's single. It was the equivalent of 200 units of carbon whatever. And so each 100 units of this carbon footprint whatever is worth €1. So he's in the third page of this thing, it was asked, do you want us to take money from you so that we can replace the trees and then we can invest it into global climate change programs to educate people about the problem that we have about climate and things like that. You can choose to collaborate this by helping Colombian jungles and Colombian replacements forest program, or you can do this in a Spain local program. So if you do it through Colombia, it was €2. And this was because they said that this amount, the guy was very specific, the thing was very specific, how much they spent on gasoline, how much it was spent on electricity, how much it was spent on water, how much it was spent on food, from which they already knew how much is what's specific for meat. And all of these things were crazy. So he said, and I quote, yeah, right now they are doing it voluntarily, meaning they're asking people to pay. They're seeing if people are willing to say, okay, I'm sorry for, making all this trouble, so I'm going to help. So here is €2 for you. So let's say that they have 10 million, customers. And each customer is giving an average of €5. That's 50 million euros that they're getting every single month out of taxes for the carbon thing. So they are doing that on purpose because of housing. So they are asking people to not live alone. They are also asking people to share utilities because there will be a quota. There will be a quota for this thing. And they are asking people to be in apartments like the ones that are in Hong Kong right now. What does that mean? Well, it means that basically you get one room. Let's say that there is a floor, a building floor. Try to imagine the building floor in which, you're in the New York, for example, and then there is an apartment in each floor has 4 apartments. Now it's not going to be like that. Now it's going to be like there is one huge kitchen that you're sharing with everyone, and then each person gets one room. So you get 20 rooms, And by the way, the rooms are the size of 10 feet by 10 feet, maybe less. As in 3 meters by 3 meters, sometimes even less than that. And you get one room for you and everything. And then you have to share the bathroom, the kitchen, and everything with everybody, even if it is quarantine. And even all of these things. Because if you do it like that, then your quota for heating services, as in, electricity, as in water services, is going to be okay. And it's going to be within the limit. Oh, and if somebody is overcooking because they want to sell cookies or something like that, yeah, the whole place, the whole floor is going to be out of propane for, and they will have to pay fines. And everyone will have to share the fines. So despite you cooking twice a week or whatever, because maybe you are, a busy person that doesn't stop and doesn't cook, it doesn't matter. You are paying a fine for cooking. Because that one is also already happening in Hong Kong, by the way. I mean the living like that. I don't mean the taxes. I mean the actual living like that. If you go and try to make a living in Hong Kong right now, it's sort of like that. And they are trying to make that living into everybody else. They are doing that. They are taking that as a standard for the rest of the planet. I do not know about you, but I like having my own house and my own bathroom. Because I'm a girl and I do not like sharing the bathroom with a bunch of guys and a bunch of people that might not clean it. I mean, I already have a lot of drama with my mom and my daughter and everybody who is using my bathroom. So try to imagine that sharing with 20 people. And try to imagine the cleaning for the kitchen. You are going to have to be paying a lot of services and a lot of taxes. And if somebody messes up, you are paying part of that tax and the fine. Because, somebody should have known. So, in order for you to avoid this, there will be people watching over people, which is exactly what happened in Europe when the war came up. People was watching over people, and if they thought that you were whatever, they told the people, oh, here is someone that you want to have because the government will pay you and the government will let you go of certain things if you rat, if you tell on other people. That is a thing. And it's already happening. So, I am assuming that, you're thinking, so now what? Well, now you have choices. As in, go to places like Jumanji. Because in Jumanji there is no way that you can make anything work. Because we don't have internet and things like that. Or maybe you want to go another place. Maybe you want to go to Africa. I don't know. But you will be leaving. Because quite frankly, when the car thing happens, I can tell you that one is going to probably get you the most. Especially if you are in the US. Next, the insurance companies are declaring suicide, that they do not pay the bills. That one is something that I have already told you a lot about that one. And then there is a universal income that is happening, and this one will be done by tests educational that is being done in schools, in primary school. So let me tell you this one. Right now, it's being studied, the idea that there is an AI that goes to the schools, and then the AI will go to the kids, kids who are between 3 and 7. 3 and 7 years old. The AI will take a look at their tests and everything, and based upon what they think, what it thinks that your kid should be doing, they will put the kid into a particular area, and then they will assign money to that particular area, and then that kid is going to graduate into whatever the AI says that you should be doing. And then from that point that is where, that way you don't have to look for a job, because the AI already set the job for you. You know what I mean? Because people are, this is being done because there is a fear that robots are going to take over jobs, and there will be no jobs for anyone. And since there is no jobs for anyone, then the AI is supposed to fix this by predetermining where you should be studying, so that you don't have to search for a job, because you already are going to be able to find a job, because AI told you what to study, and you already have somebody or something, because AI already made sure of that. I do not know what can go wrong with that. What do you think? Oh yeah, you telling the kids what they should do. Oh yeah, you're the parent and they won't listen to you. I do not know what makes you think that they will listen to a machine, but then again, their things, they're probably going to listen to that machine more than they will listen to you, or more than they will listen to the freaking teachers anyway. So, again, we go back to the beginning, in which I told you that in Denmark there is a political party that thinks that AI should rule the world. So now they are making it so that it is going to rule education for your kids. So if the AI determines that your kid, it has the ability to be an engineer, your kid will have everything to be an engineer. But if your kid says, no, I want to be a doctor, the AI will say, no, you are not allowed to study for being a doctor. You are only allowed to study for being an engineer, because that is what your test says that you should do, and that is the job that we have for you. If you apply for anything else, you will not get it, because the AI already have all of that. And this is going to be done by money and resources that are going to be assigned for the schools and everything else. And I'm like, really? But I thought that we were human and we were supposed to think freely. Oh no, but that's not the point. The point is that there is a framework in which you are supposed to think. And in this framework is within the boundaries of the AI telling you where you need to be headed. Because otherwise you will have chaos, because people will be looking for jobs. And we do not want unemployment, and we do not want people looking for a job. We want people to graduate and already know what they're doing for the rest of their lives, because we already said that that's going to happen. I don't know what can go wrong with that. Again, I don't think people understand the word rebel. I don't think these people, the ones that are getting the AI and things like that, I don't think they're getting the idea. But okay, let's roll with it. Now, there is something interesting that came up. A lot of lawyers, lawyers. Oh my God, I swear to God. If I was a alien, I will probably, every single time that I will look for the lawyers, I will probably follow around 20 lawyers, and I will have like tons and tons and tons of popcorn and wine, and I will go crazy by watching the freaking lawyers, and I will go like, really? What are you, no, oh my God, see, oh no, serious, oh no. Because with lawyers, I swear to God, you don't know oh no. When you just think that nothing can surprise you with the freaking lawyers, oh yeah. So, lawyers and doctors, again. So, it turns out that there is a lot of people that, they are asking, how did their family died? Because, some of them did not perform autopsies, but some of them did. And they're asking, okay, so my dad never had any kind of issues, and now he's dead, and I found that suspicious. So I need proof. So, of course, the first people that they ask is doctors and nurses. And here's the deal. they look into the finances of a lot of doctors, because they're thinking, okay, what is going on? When you investigate the doctors, because doctors seem to be like, oh, we know nothing. Really? Oh, we do nothing. Especially if we're going to be on trial. No, we do know nothing. Yeah, kind of like that. So they said, okay, let's check this out. So from April and May of 2021, there is a lot of doctors, especially the ones that are interns, as in the ones that, deal with emergencies and things like that. They got 10 times their salaries placed in their accounts. There is a bunch of doctors that happen to have that. And they are doctors that even are getting bonuses of $2,000 for applying the euthanasia thing that I told you last week. So, lawyers are wondering, why is that? I mean, seriously, you are getting a salary that is multiplied 10 times? Why? Just because you are in an emergency room? What is it? What are you covering up? And it's not all doctors. It's just several that are emergency and several that are interns. And then there are a lot of doctors that are doing the euthanasia thing because they are getting $2,000. Especially if the people that are doing the euthanasia thing got the thing in their arm. So if the thing in your arm didn't kill you, but now you have to pay a lot of money, yeah, the government is also paying the doctors $2,000 so that this just goes away, meaning you are dead, and there are no questions asked. Great? Great. So, like I said, you're a doctor right now? Yeah, you're going to be in a circus. So the real question is, why are they getting 10 times the payment that they got before? As in, what changed in April and May of 2021? What changed exactly? And what does that mean? And why are the doctors getting bonuses for doing the euthanasia thing? In which there is no, obviously there is not going to be an autopsy. So what does that mean? Because the doctors are even getting paid in transportation bonuses and a lot of other things. So, it's weird. But I'm guessing that the lawyers will have a field day with you. Now, the next one is that the doctors are puzzled because now there is a bunch of kids with Alzheimer's. And I'm not joking. They are even saying that these kids who are 8 and 9, and by the way, they are in Europe and in the UK. Mostly in Europe and the UK. And it's insane. How can you have Alzheimer's when you are 8? And how can you have Parkinson when you are 8 or 9? Oh, but this is not being, this is being done this is being handled like if it is the result of a new virus or a new thing. It's not being linked to what they put into their bodies. It has nothing to do with that. According to the doctors who are making this study. So they are expecting at least 1/5 to 1/4 of the kids to develop this problem within the next year or couple of years. I am going to keep a little bit of silence because I do not know how you are going to, digest that information. But if you think about it and your kid is fine, then that means that your kid is going to be with friends who have all kinds of challenges, and is a circus all over. Their friends are committing suicide, their friends are, having sexual identity issues, they are having Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and all kinds of things. And then they are also having other issues. And so I'm wondering, how is that going to affect your kids' mental health? Because if you were thinking, okay, I'm going to create a new community like the Amish thing or whatever, yeah, I just spent a lot of time explaining to you that that's not going to happen because of what I just told you. Because everybody else will be in a mindset that is already set into a frame. It's not free, it's within a frame. And tomorrow, which is the 29th of August, Russia has decided that they are not going to take any kind of US dollars warranties for any kind of any kind of company transaction whatsoever. So basically this means that if you have paper gold investments, yeah, you might need to rethink in terms of what you're doing, because right now they're not going to take the US dollar as any kind of currencies, and I have other videos explaining all of this topic about cash. I do not know if that is interesting, because I don't know, I do not get a lot of comments, and I have a lot of reproduction lists that are open, and I do not know what seems to hit or click with people. All I can tell you is that the views in my channels are messed up, so I do not know which ones are real. I cannot trust the numbers in my channel, so I can only trust what people tell me in the comments, and there are people that have even mentioned that their comments are disappearing. So I have a haunted channel, and I have no idea how to deal with that. I'm working on it, but meanwhile, all I can tell you is that if you like this series or whatever, you can give it a thumbs up, you can share the channel, and as always, do not trust anything that no one says. Do your own research. Do your own research. Because quite frankly, you need to train your mind. You need to train your brain. That means exercising your brain. That might also need that you might need to change nutrition so that you can have food that is specific for your brain, because if something happens to that one, you're going to be within the mindset that is already framed, and once you do that, you will be a slave. And breaking free for something like that, not happening. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful somehow, and see you again soon.